Hi and welcome to Paper Plate Tiaras with Maya Larson. I'm Maya Larson and we're going to make paper plate tiaras. First you will need uncoated paper plates. Markers, crayons, paint. For this project I would suggest markers at first unless you have lots of time to dry. Glitter is optional, a hole punch of some kind, and a hot glue gun. You can use traditional methods of a regular glue gun or a pen to poke a hole. Don't feel you have to use all the supplies that I am using. Definitely adapt the project to your preferences. So here is one I have made, and it has paint. So I would have pre-painted it before any of the work we're about to do here. But I will show you how to make it today using just markers. I used an elastic band initially. I actually used 4 tied together, and I will show you how to use just regular knitting string or yarn. If you have dental floss, you could use dental floss. Don't feel you have to use what I'm using. The first thing you're going to want to do is color your uncoated paper plate. It can be either side. This one was colored on the back side, as was this one done with paint, and this one was done with markers and a fusion of paint. Markers and more markers. So take your white paper plate and make it unwhite, however you want. If you specifically want to make a rainbow tiara hat, I would definitely recommend you do it in a rainbow pattern. You could do it in the starburst pattern you just saw there, and it's really up to you. Here I'm going to start with yellow. I would definitely recommend you start with the lightest colors you plan to use. That way they will stay true. And work your way around each color of the rainbow. If you have a young one and you're doing the project with them, you could have them hold the marker still and you can turn the plate. This is definitely a craft that can be adapted to any age and any skill level. Keep working in a circular motion all the way around your plate. Like I said, don't try and keep up with the speed of the film. Pause the video and color your plate, and then press play when you want to resume. Make sure to paint all the way to the edges because we will be using half the plate. The top half is the crown part of your tiara, so take all of your coloring right to the outer edges. Now that you're finished coloring your paper plate, we're going to fold it in half to score it so that it's easier to cut or tear into 2 pieces. So cut your paper plate into half, and you'll notice that one paper plate actually makes 2 hats. So this is a great project to make with siblings or for a friend, or if you just happen to want more than one paper plate hat. So fold the paper plate in half, then it's easier for you to go ahead and cut it. Then you're just going to want to make sure that your plate is nice and sort of flat. Give it a slight bit of a fold. So this is just a video, but you can definitely have a lot more fun than what you see me using here. I've used paint as a bottom layer, and then you can go on top with Posca pens or more paint and add details and names or marks that are meaningful to you. Anything just to add a little bit more of a personal touch to your rainbow tiara hat. Grab your hole punch or a tool to make a hole in either side of the paper plate hat. I'd come in from the edges just at least about an inch, that way it doesn't just rip. Paper plates are pretty sturdy though, so they won't withstand a full-on deliberate attempt to tear one in half, but they will definitely withstand getting it on and off your head a bunch of times. Next thing you want to do is grab your cotton balls. If you want to use them, you don't have to. It's an optional addition. I like it because I wanted a rainbow tiara hat, and it covers up the elastics on the edges. You can use a regular liquid glue. It'll just have to dry overnight, but if you happen to have a hot glue gun handy, glue over top of the hole punch and elastic with your cotton ball. Carefully not to do it on a surface that it'll stay glued to. And there you have it, easy peasy. You can attach your elastics to the back, or as you'll see shortly, I have also used an example using yarn. The elastics are nice if you have them. I just wanted to model that you can use almost anything to tie your hat together. Don't feel that you have to have certain tools. Shoelace would do in a pinch. Use your hot glue and your cotton balls to cover up any excess so that it's nice and neat from the front. And there you go. It stands flat, so even if you didn't want to wear this project as a hat, they make great garlands. You can affix a safety pin to the top of it and hang them along a string, or you could even just stand them upright, say on a mantelpiece or front doorway as an art project. Here I have taken one, and I wanted to use an example that new parents might enjoy with young toddlers. There's nothing more frustrating for somebody who likes pretty things to have a kid who just doesn't want to draw in any way pretty. So have them draw however they like I used alcohol markers, but you could use water-based markers as well. And then what I would recommend you do after, the video is out of sequence, but you'll see after I demonstrate here with the yarn how long you want it, at least the length of your arm, if not twice the length if you're measuring with yarn, or measure your head and do it. Once you've got a base layer of markers, and in whichever way your child has chosen to put them down, take a white acrylic paint or a white gesso and just dashery, splish splash, make it messy, but go over top of the marker with white paint. It'll make it bleed a little bit and run kind of like a tie-dye, and that is what I've done here with this rainbowish style paper plate hat. Underlayer is a very loose marker layer that anybody might do when they're young, and then over top I went in with white paint and glitter and then let dry, and then I went over top with markers. So you can definitely still have a pretty looking hat even if your youngster is a little young to be trying to make it look a certain way. So don't panic, moms. You can whitewash it out a little bit and it'll look delicate and pretty. Make sure to measure before you finish tying it off. For parents or peoples who shudder at the very notion of using glitter, I will suggest here that if you have somebody who is dead set on using glitter and you definitely don't want to see it lingering around after the project is made, grab yourself some varnish. I would say liquid varnish is better. Spray varnish is fun, but it really smells and you'd have to go outside the house to use it. But grab yourself some liquid varnish and just do a quick layer over top, let it dry overnight, and that'll keep the glue or the glitter stuck to the paper plate, and it'll stay on there and still be flashy, but it won't come off the paper plate every time you take a step, or if you happen to be wearing it, or end up on everybody around you's clothing while you're wearing it. So here I have shown you how to use yarn as your tie. Like I said, you could use a shoelace, a beautiful piece of ribbon. You can elevate this craft right up there into larger, bigger, multi-layered. Definitely always stick to uncoated plates, otherwise you will really struggle with trying to get any kind of adhesion from your coloring products. If it's got a plastic coating on it, everything will be much harder to get it to stick. However, should you accidentally buy a package of coated plastic paper plates, not the plastic ones, but they have a coating on them, you could do a matte medium collage instead of drawing on them. So a whole nother avenue to pursue. I might just have to make a video. Here is the out of sequence context. So let's say your child has scribbled all over their plate with marker and it's just not something that you like, but you still want to make a paper plate hat. As you have seen, grab some white paint or white gesso and just messy, get it all over top, and then get out your glitter, sprinkle it on, and let dry. You can take the extra time then when it's dry to go over it again with paint pens and add more dimension or direction if you need to. Thanks again for watching. Hope you've enjoyed.